EDN462 Assignment 3 by Shane Dye. My name is Shane Dye. I'm a third year pre-service teacher at Murdoch University. My student number is 327000418. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about my investigation into Lucy's math skills, and can't wait to hear your feedback, whether positive or negative. Thank you. The child I chose to assess is a 6-year-old named Lucy. She's in year 1 currently. I know her father quite well, so I've been around Lucy almost her entire life, and which means we have a good relationship, which helped when conducting the learning activities. I focused on number, particularly partitioning and skip counting. After assignment 2, Lucy could show that she could subitize and that she could also add using counting on methods, so I decided to try and see if we could extend her with both partitioning and skip counting. Partitioning with 2-digit numbers, and then partitioning single-digit numbers, and then obviously skip counting by 2s, 5s and 10s. All of the learning experiences took place at my house, which is a familiar environment for Lucy, so she was not out of her comfort zone at all. Her father was here in the house at the same time, so she definitely felt comfortable and safe. Learning experience 1 was to do with partitioning 2-digit numbers, so she had to partition, say 10 into the tens column and then the ones column. Learning experience 2 was about partitioning single-digit numbers, so 7 into 4 and 3. And learning experience 3 was a skip counting hopscotch game that we did, just about learning to count by 2s, 5s and 10s. So I explained to Lucy that partitioning is about breaking numbers up in different ways, and that we can break 2-digit numbers into groups of 10s or 1s, sometimes called units. To represent the 10s, I did a bundle of 10 straws wrapped in a lucky band, and the 1s was just a single straw. Together we did the number 11 to start out with a simple one. So I put one group of 10s in the 10s column, and then a single straw in the 1s column. I told Lucy to go ahead and do 12 by herself next. She kind of struggled a little bit, not really understanding, but once she got the 10s in the 10s column and realised that 12 was one more than 11, obviously, she put 2 in the 1s column straight away, and she kind of caught onto the pattern that was required of her. So then we did a range of numbers, 25, 17, she but those fairly quickly. 30 she had some trouble with because there's no singles to go in the 1s column. But once she kind of realised that 30 is like 3, lots of 10 and then 0 in the 1s column, she was quite happy to do any number with 0 in the 1s column. I did 6, and she just reversed her thinking for 30 and didn't put anything in the 10s, and she did quite well. If I had to do this activity again, I would probably create the bundles of 10 straws with Lucy before starting the activity, as this way she could see the bundles of 10 actually being bundles of 10 and seeing them as a group of 10 instead of just seeing them as representing 10 and not actually knowing that there's 10 straws, if that makes sense. The mathematical focus for this is in the year 1 content descriptor of the SCASA. It's count collections to 100 by partitioning numbers using place value, and also the first steps in number partitioning phase, where you got to partition 2 and 3-digit numbers. In learning experience 2, I explained to Lucy that we can also partition numbers smaller than 10 into groups of 1s. I had 10 pegs in a coat hanger, and I asked Lucy to count how many I had. Obviously she got this easily. I then moved 1 peg to one side and kept 9 on the other side. I asked Lucy what I've partitioned my pegs or my 10 into. I've got 1 on this side, and prompting her to answer, and she said 9 on the other side. I asked what I've done with my 10. She said you split it up into 1 and 9. And I was like, yes. I told her, yes, that's correct. That's the same as partitioning. Like, we split our 2-digit number into groups of 10s and 1s. I then moved 2 more pegs to give me a group of 3 on one side and a group of 7 on the other side. I asked, how have I partitioned my 10 this time? Lucy replied with 3 and 7 after she counted the pegs. I asked, does that mean that we can partition a number in more than one way? She replied yes, and stated that because we had just done 10 twice, we partitioned it 1 and 9 and 3 and 7. I then took 3 pegs off and we partitioned 7, like the number 7. I got her to move some pegs over and she partitioned them herself. I was very impressed with how she grasped this concept so quickly. If I were to do this learning experience again, I would have multiple coloured pegs on the available, and I would have more than one coat hanger. I would probably have a coat hanger, 2 or 3 coat hangers, so I could show different partitions of the same number at the same time. And I'd also like to use the components of the partitions with different coloured pegs, so say 3 red and then 4 green, just so it's a bit easier to see the separation. This learning experience fits in with the SCALA curriculum Year 1 counting collections to 100 by partitioning, and also the first steps in number partitioning phase. We're talking about non-standard partitioning. After learning experiences 1 and 2, Lucy was beginning to lose interest and get a bit fiddly, so I decided to do a physical brain break activity for number 3. I decided to do a skip counting hopscotch, which is just skip counting while playing hopscotch. Lucy was really engaged in this activity as it was more physical and she loves doing dancing outside of school, so I also suggested that we could create a dance by doing skip counting, which she was really eager to try after we had finished our skip counting hopscotch. If I was to do this activity again, I would probably do this activity outside because obviously lots of running around and jumping inside probably isn't the best place to do it in hindsight. I would also try and find a way to stick the numbers down, as the numbers often were flung off by Lucy's feet as she was trying to do it as fast as possible. This learning experience hits the curriculum SCASA Year 1 content descriptor of develop confidence with number sequences to and from 100 by 1s and also skip counting by 2s, 5s and 10s. In regards to the learning activities, I'm very happy with the way they went. Lucy seemed to be engaged in all of them. They just think that the first 2 went a little bit long for her, so she started to get a bit bored and it wasn't as exciting as she probably thought it was going to be after the first, after assessment 2. She did enjoy getting up and moving around for experience 3 though, so next time I would have more physical activities for her. What she could do next, or what I would work on her next, is practice our skip counting all the way up to 100, so I wouldn't stop at 50 for the 5s. I would go all the way to 100, and same with the 2s. I would also start partitioning 3-digit numbers, as she understood 2-digit numbers quite well, and if she continues the pattern she should be able to get it no problem at all. I would also practice partitioning 2-digit numbers into non-standard form. However, I think she might have trouble with this at this stage, as it's maybe too complicated for her, and she was only understanding the single-digit numbers because she had them right in front of her and she could count the pegs on the coat hanger. So what did I learn from performing these assessments? I learned that creating engaging activities increases students' interest, which actually increases their ability to complete the task. Because they're more interested in the task, they actually want to participate more and they want to get the answer. I've done a few tasks. My even assessment 2 wasn't as engaging as assessment 3, and I think that definitely shows in her ability, because it seemed to be way higher this time around than it did the first time. I also learned that having short direct instruction for younger students is incredibly important, as they have a short attention span and they need the quick, short, simple instruction to understand what's going on before they lose interest. I just want to say thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I can't wait to hear your feedback, and I can't wait to watch everybody else's presentation and give feedback for you guys as well. Cool. Thank you.